Team Scritch, welcome back to the Scritch Has Gone Wild channel. Thanks again for tuning in. So it is July 16th, and before I forget, big shout out, happy birthday to my favorite sister. Love you, sis. Tammy Lynn Scritchfield Jones, and hope to see you soon. So we are a little over halfway today, and we are at Gath State Park, which is in Maryland, and specifically at Cramptons Gap. So a couple little things to tell you about. So this park is named after George Alfred Townsend, but his pen name was Gath, and he was actually a war correspondent, specifically during the Civil War, and he was a prolific writer, and he was really well read. And so he reported on the South Mountain campaign, which happens to be the three gaps: Turner's Gap, Cramptons Gap, and I think it's South Gap. I can't remember. I'd have to look at it again. Anyways, we're gonna go through all those gaps, and I'm gonna show them to you guys. But he later on in life, he had done well, and so he made his estate here, and now it's a state park, and you can come see it. A couple of things I want to show you and talk to you about with the Civil War. But the first thing I want to show you is he built his own mausoleum, and it's called an open tomb because he never got buried there. And so he built it, but it's never gotten used. We'll go up here and we'll take a quick look. There you go. It was built in 1895. And it's nothing spectacular. We're not going to walk all the way up there. It's got a nice wall, but you can see he built a mausoleum up there. It's covered up with a tarp, and there is a little arch up there. I do want to show you guys that. That's a pretty cool piece of architecture here. And just so you know, the Appalachian Trail, we actually came down and looked at that little arch right there. The Appalachian Trail goes right behind that. So we came out, and the trail actually goes down the road right there, and then we'll pop back down in the woods when we get down here to the bottom. But one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about was so the South Mountain campaign in the Civil War. So we're heading north, and we are on a ridge line right now. And to the west, you have Cumberland Valley, and to the east, you have the coast. And so General Lee has invaded. He's like, I need to take Washington. And in order to take Washington, he needs to get across the mountains. So what's going on? The Confederate Army is heading north on the west side of the mountains, looking for a place, looking for a gap where they can get across. And the Union Army is shadowing them because their whole main effort is to not let them get to Washington, D.C. and take the capital, because they know the war will be over at that point. So what happens is both sides will send people up into these gaps, low areas where you can get across the mountains. And eventually you end up having all these skirmishes, and some get a little more involved than others. And what I mean by that is you get up there, sometimes it's like, oh, there's people there, and there's a couple shots fired, and they will all go away. And then other times people will come up, and then they get reinforced, so you actually have a pretty good little battle going on right there. So that's what we're doing, and we're going to be heading up this ridge for a while, and we should get to the other two gaps, and we can talk about them. And I know we're going to go through some Civil War monuments, and we'll get some more history there. So this barn building was built in 1885, and I guess we have some museum type stuff in there. We'll take a look. So here you go. So Cramptons Gap, and And so September 14th, 1862 is when all of this went down here. And then, I'm sorry, it wasn't South Gap, it's Fox Gap. So we have Turner's Gap that's up north, and we have Fox Gap that's up north. And so they just got some period pieces in here, people dressed up what they look like, and some of the paraphernalia that you might see. And some of the weapons and things that they would have been carrying. But we're not going to go into that much detail. Suffice to say that you have General Lee and his army on the western side, and you have General McClellan, and he's on the eastern side. And they are kind of playing cat and mouse, trying to figure out where each other are, trying to figure out how to get across, how to figure out how to block them. And so this is the other amazing monument, and this is really worth coming to see. This is the War Correspondence Memorial, and this was built by Mr. Townsend, Gath, if you will. He just thought it was so important that you be able to know what's going on in these battles and in these wars, and you have war correspondence. So he took it upon himself, and he actually built this War Correspondence Memorial up here in honor of everybody that's ever did any correspondence, that's did any writing, that's did any reporting on any battles or any wars anywhere. And it's actually quite the monument. And it's kind of two major roads that come down right here. And so just kind of a really neat place. I mean, you can drive right up here. There's no cost or anything. It's just right here in Maryland. It's not far from Harper's Ferry. It's not far from Pennsylvania. So all my Pennsylvania friends, if you're watching, you can come on down here and just take a look for yourself. So that's about all I got for you guys right now, but we will definitely have more later. So make sure you stay positive, say your prayers, do something good for somebody, have a glass of wine for me tonight. Until next time, Sky King out.